so much, darling. Ooh, I want your love. Gotta have your love. Hey, darling. Ooh, baby, don't keep me waiting. You make me crazy, baby. I'm in love, I can tell. I know me so well. Anyone can see. I'm so wrapped up in you, there's nothing I can do. You hold. Good afternoon and welcome back to My Harlem Portraits, the show that aims at shedding the light on the fundamental contribution of African Americans to the building of this country and on Black excellence. To talk about Black excellence and to represent Black excellence, we have today with us a guest, an accomplished recording artist, a band leader, and an actor, Mr. Ronn David McPhatter. Welcome to My Harlem Portraits.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for giving us the time. Today, we are starting a series of interviews of my show dedicated to the National R&B Music Day that will be celebrated in March of 2024. So, who better than music royalty like you to start our interview with? Because when your mother is Ruth Brown, who is the Queen of R&B, your father is CLYDE McPHATTER, founder and lead singer of the original Drifters. And your uncle is the one and only Little Richard, all the three inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, your legacy is absolutely undeniable.
Thank you.
You were born to be an entertainer. But how difficult, or maybe not, has it been in your life to live up to such legacy?
You know, that's a very good question. First, it hasn't been hard in the fact that I didn't know that my parents and my uncle were famous. They were just, I had no idea. You know what I mean? It was just Uncle Rich and Mom and Dad do this. It was never like, you know, walking around with a crown and stuff. None of that happened. And it was just all of the people that were friends and uncles, Jackie Wilson, Sam Cooke, the Temptations. You know, this was just what I thought was normal. And that's what they all did. Everybody was into music. So I just naturally fell into that because that's what I heard and was around all of the time. And what I didn't realize is that I was around some of the legendary, you know, record-breaking artists who I just thought were family or close friends. So in that aspect, it hasn't been hard. What's hard is in my own mind, what I put on myself to live up to them, you know, or try to represent it correctly. You know, my mom would open a door, you know, she said, I'll open the door, but you have to walk through. And once you get through, now it's up to you to present. Every famous person in the world has a relative, you know, but that doesn't mean that they can do what they do, you know. So she told me that if I'm going to do it because I love it, not because I'm trying to make money or be a star or any of that crazy stuff. If that's what you feel in your heart, which is really what drove them to be such great artists, is that it just kind of, that's what you feel, you know.
You don't have a choice. You feel that's it, that's you.
Yeah, it's just, whenever I hear music, I hear my own little version of it. I was like, oh, if I had written that, I would have done so-and-so, so-and-so, you know. Smokey Robinson sang it that way, but I would have did this, you know. I mean, that's what creative people do. You take something and you try your best to figure out another way of doing it, which is just, like I said, it was just part of my makeup because that's what I was born into. And they never acted any differently than Mom and Dad. If I did something crazy, you're on timeout, you're in punishment, you know, don't make me kill you, that type of thing. So it was pretty normal, you know. So I had great family, relatives, cousins. We all stayed together, you know. It was like if we were at one aunt's house, you know, you lived at whatever. So if I acted crazy at my aunt's house, my aunt would call my mom, and I knew I was going home to get killed. So they kept us in line. They kept us in line.
I mean, it must be wonderful because I love music and I wish I could sing, but I cannot sing at all. So that for me was always my great regret in life. Why can't I sing? So it must be amazing to come up in such a family and have a voice for it. Because it's not bad that you were supposed to have a voice, right?
Well, I'll just say my chances were better because my mom and my dad on both sides. You know, you can have one parent that has a great voice or the other, but I kind of got lucky. I got 2 for 1, you know, and so
Yeah.
chances that I could make it singing were better for me than normally.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that.
You are the founder of CLYDE McPHATTER Drifters featuring Ronn David McPhatter. And you've been performing all over the country. You told me that you just came back from a tour and you're going on another tour. Tell us a little bit about your life.
I try to do as many different things as I can. You know, you try to take advantage of whatever talents you have. It's a very hard business, you know, so my mom and dad used to say the more irons in the fire you have, the better chance. So I tried to sing, dance, do music, play keyboard, whatever I could do that could help you promote your career. So trying to take over and do the legacy of my father's music, that's how I created CMD, which is CLYDE McPHATTER's Drifters. And there are all these people that always claim to be a drifter or whatever, and good for them. I'm more of a don't imitate, create, you know. So I get if you want to be just like the Temptations or be just like, you know, somebody Shaft or something. I don't know for real, but I'm more interested in finding your own space to walk in. Because that's what my parents did. You know, she wasn't imitating her. She had people she liked, you know, Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday, and my dad the same. He came from a gospel roots, you know. So he was in a group before that, which was Billy Ward and the Dominoes. And how he got to go solo was that he sang all of the stuff in the Dominoes, but Billy Ward was the leader. So whenever they would come up, they would think Billy Ward was my father. And, you know, you were really a great singer, you know. And I mean, so he said, I'm out, you know, and he went solo. And that's how he created the Drifters when he left the Dominoes. So to me, it was just a natural thing to take what my parents had worked so hard to create, which was to give me a good life, to give my sister a good life. And a lot of people always say they want to make it on their own, you know, and nobody's done that. There's nobody that's ever made it without somebody helping you. So I realized early, once I feel like who they were, that this was an opportunity to use, this was just another step to help me if I'm going to do this. So the fact that my father has his own stamp, my mom, both are in the rock and roll, that'll get people to stop and look at you. Like, for instance, this very nice and wonderful interview you're doing, you know. It's not things that happen every day, but it's because of the background. And I do my best to take advantage of it and pay tribute to them the best I can, which is by being good, trying the best I can to be good, you know.
And you definitely are. I heard some of the recordings. Amazing. Because you have the R&B sound, but with a modern twist to it.
Yes, yeah.
I suppose that's what you meant when you say people are imitating. And when you just imitate and you don't give anything of your own,
yes,
it's not the same thing.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. I just always, we're more a contemporary act with the way we look and the steps and the harmonies. They're different than the way my dad did. But I took the classic songs and updated them. In fact, it's kind of like the reverse of what Bruno Mars does. He's taken new song, but he made the look like their old school 1960s with the Silk Sonic and all of that. It's a great idea, and he's so talented. But that's the same thing that we do, only in reverse. I take my father's older songs, give them a little updated, more grooves, new steps, and type of look, GQ look with us, and we're doing well. We're doing well, so I can't complain.
Tell us about your next tours. So if our viewers are around your area, they can go and see you.
Okay, I just did a show which is the YouTube Theater here in Los Angeles, which is part of the $5 billion SoFi Stadium that the Rams and the Chargers play at. So we had a big soul fest there with Rolls Royce and Al Hudson and One Way and Zap, and it was just amazing. And then we just came from the beautiful Alabama Theater, and it was with the Platters and the Coasters. So that's amazing, because you're really, the YouTube Theater is huge. It's like 6,000 people.
Oh my God.
But that's the top level of everything, and everything. So we're headed back to South Carolina to do the Alabama Theater again very soon, and New York, but
when are you coming to New York?
We're supposed to do that in 2 months. We're working on it now. But a lot of times when people add shows, it's not until the paperwork is signed, you finish. So
but let us know when you come, okay?
Are you okay? I will. Absolutely.
I want to come and see you, and I
will be my guest. You be my
you.
guest. Be my honor
To do that. So you are also an accomplished recording artist. We just talked a little bit about that, but tell us more about, for example, one of your singles is titled I Want Your Loving. Yes. And our viewers just saw it before we started the interview, and I think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
Tell us about this, the recording process and so on. That must be exciting.
Well, as a writer, that's about as personal as you can get. Because like I said, I can sing a Temptation song written by Smokey Robinson or something, My Girl or anything like that. And having a voice that people like, I can sing my mother or my dad's stuff. And they're basing you on your performance and your talent as a singer. But it's different when you can write something and put music to it and people go, man, I know what that song is. That I like that. So as I said before, I do my best to try to diversify. And writing something gives me the opportunity to do the whole thing the way I would do it. I mean, again, I can do a remake. And Luther Vandross is famous for doing remakes. And he's just such a killer singer. But it's his own songs that he writes that he loves the best. And same here. It's just a creative process that lets you be yourself. And if people like the song, then they like where you're coming from. That's why my mom and dad are individuals, because they did their own music, So I'm just trying to follow in that vein. And it's an opportunity to express yourself. That's all.
And that is fantastic. So you are a lead singer, you are producer of song, you write your own songs, you play an instrument. I didn't know that. You dance, and now we go to your other career, the acting career. So you portrayed Tony Williams, the lead singer of the Platters, opposite Oscar winner Halle Berry.
Yes.
Wonderful. In Why Do Fools Fall in Love?
Yes, yes.
Tell us about that movie a little bit, because it's a wonderful movie.
It's the story of Frankie Lyman, who actually married 3 women. That's what Why Do Fools Fall in Love. He married a school teacher, Halle, who was playing Zola Taylor, who's a
Mhm.
singer of the Platters, and Vivica Fox played the other lady here.
Mhm.
But the crazy thing was that I auditioned for it. I was out with Rick James, and the manager came and knocked on my door and said, "They're trying to reach you." I was asleep, so I didn't answer. He said, "They're trying to reach you." So they called and they want to interview you. We were heading back to LA. And long story short, I went in for an interview with Reuben Cannon. It was
Mhm.
like huge direct. And he just looked at me. I read a couple of lines and he asked me, would I mind singing something? So I sang, Sam, a change is going to come.
Wow.
And he just looked at me and I said, okay. He said, I'll talk to you later. That's all he said. I left. By the time I got back to the house, got ready to go, he said, you got the part. They
Wow.
yeah, they want you to do this movie. And at first I didn't know that Halle was in it until I realized it. And I had no idea. They didn't tell me anything. And once I realized I had Tony Williams part and was going to be in the group with Halle, I was like, how much do I have to pay them?
Fantastic.
I'll pay. Yeah.
Halle Berry.
Just let me be there. Okay, thanks. Appreciate it. But again, it's an opportunity to show another side of you. And I always would laugh and people ask me, well, how do you do so many different things? I'm just trying to pay my rent. That's all I'm doing. Whatever works,
You were also in Shake, Rattle and Rock, another incredible movie with Renee Zellweiger.
Yes.
Tell us a
Renee
little bit about
Zellweiger.
that
Yes. Again, with Renee Zellweiger, my mother was in it. Jennifer Lewis from Blackish, she was in it.
Oh, yes.
And Howie Mandel. I played a record executive. The story was about these three young Black girls, like a singing group, kind of like the Supremes. And Howie Mandel was more like Dick Clark. And the theme was that they were trying to make it onto his show. And after the movie's over and everything, it's just the fact that I played a music executive that came in, and my scene was with my mom and Jennifer and Renee, and I'm watching TV and the girls are singing. And I'm like, whoa, who is that? And I signed them to the record company, and it was just amazing to be around that type of level of talent, so that's always been what I felt was the best reward. Not the fact that you get to say I was in this and it, but I got to meet and be around people at that level, and I'm always trying to take something from it. I get an opportunity like this, like talking to you, I'm going to learn how to be a better host if I ever do that. I was like, okay, that's how Marie did.
Just a learning host. So you were also in Permanent Records
Yes.
with Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, yes.
Yeah, another high quality. And then one of my favorite movies, cult movie, The Five Heartbeats.
You did some homework, didn't you?
Oh no,
That's your movie, huh?
Tell us about that movie, because that movie is amazing. The talent in there is.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Leon and wow. The Five Heartbeats was about, basically it was supposed to be a spinoff of the Temptations, but Robert Townsend basically turned it into more about the Dells, and it was the groups that were competing to become super, and like how they went through things to get there, and Robert was writing his music. And so during the whole thing, there were three groups that were always in contention for the winning. And that was Five Heartbeats, Us, which was Flash and the Ebony Sparks. And there was another group, Bird and the Midnight Falcons. So he's the one that they were hanging over the terrace, Big Red.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God.
Yes. Yeah. My office hours are, it was just amazing because truthfully, I was friends with Robert. We used to play basketball and stuff. Denzel too. We would North Hollywood High. We would just Lawrence Hilton Jacobs. You know, all of us were just in that same group that they would try out for movies or you know, being supportive of each other. You know, so that was the amazing stuff, because there were scenes in it that he directly got from my mom and stuff.
Oh, wow.
where they back in those days in South, they stopped them and made them get out of the car to prove that they were musicians, and they had to play their instruments on the side of the road, you know. And that happened with my mom, and everybody played their, you know, instrument, drummers tapping and guitar player. And my mom was feisty, so she wasn't having it. And the man took out a gun. It was the sergeant or whatever, the policeman. He said, "I don't see you doing anything." And she said, "I'm the singer, you know, and then let me hear you sing that." And it was just those type of things. And that's, Robert wrote that into his movie. You know, there's a lot of things like that happened that today people would be like, "Oh my God, that would never happen." I wouldn't have that happen. Different times, different way of dealing with things. But that's what they went through so that we can have it better, you know. So
thank God.
Yes,
it's still not good in this country, but
no. It's better than it was, not as good as it should be. Absolutely.
Exactly. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing this show, because I'm Italian, and I want Europeans and also white America to understand the amazing talent that is in Black culture.
Yes.
Because, you know, the stereotypes are those that come across easiest. And we need to know the real thing, the real story, and the real culture is very important. So let's go to National R&B Music Day.
Right.
What is considered, according to you, R&B music?
It's funny. Actually, it's Black music. It started out with the grooves and the beats, drums and stuff. And there was always race music is what it was called, my mom. And it was more than, if it wasn't Pat Boone singing my uncle's songs like Tutti Frutti and all of that, my uncle Richard did, but they wouldn't put it on radio. And Pat Boone or Patsy Cline would come in and redo one of my mom's songs or one of Richard's songs, and it'd be a gigantic hit. And that's because they didn't want to play that on the radio or let them know it was Black artists. And as time gone on, it started becoming labels. You know, it's country music, it's opera, it's this, and rhythm and blues came from the soul of Black people and how we felt. You know, there was this rhythm, and it was usually brought out because of the trials that we were, the blues, like B.B. King said, you know, you're singing the blues, you know, and it basically what the name implies, you know, it's music that came from our experiences, in my opinion. And, you know, you do the best to try to think. Funk music, soul music, disco, whatever it is. People have to have a name. Me, I'm more like, if I like it, I like it. You know, opera to country music, whatever. If it sounds good when I hear it, I'm good with it, you know. But R&B was a label that was placed on it, actually from what was it, RCA Records.
Yes.
Back in the 40s. Yeah, that's where it started. Or they gave it the name originally. Jerry
Wexler, right? He was
yes.
He was. Yes. I just saw, well, a couple of months ago, I saw this show, off-Broadway show here, which is called Rock and Roll Man. And I didn't know anything about that. But that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, 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 absolutely.
He was the one who started to play Black music on white radio stations.
DJ, yes. Yeah. Why am I slipping his name? He had all the big shows to travel.
Yeah,
around.
I can't remember his name right now. I am blank, but I didn't know about him, and it was fantastic to learn about it, because exactly what you said, it was called race music. So it didn't go. And all the white artists, they copied, they redid your songs, and then they became famous.
Yeah.
But nobody knew that it wasn't their original song.
It's Alan Freed. Alan
Freed.
Yes, yes. He started playing the music. In fact, that's how Motown got started. Motown in the 60s was a spinoff. But what they would do originally is when they would put a song out, they wouldn't put the artist on the cover. It would be some romantic thing or whatever, and let the audience listen to it first, and they like it. Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, and then all of a sudden they would slowly break in because, you know, of what was race problems during those times. 60s to a lot of people, different people, when they listen to it and go, oh, I love that song. That was a great song during the 60s. So I'm like, yeah, but that wasn't a great time for everybody. You know, I mean, my mom and father had their name playing Vegas, had their names up on the marquee, like 80,000 feet tall, but they weren't allowed to come in the front door or eat at the restaurant. You know, it was just, I don't know. It is what it is. So the trials and tribulations they went through, you know, is just that. Because my mom started the Rhythm and Blues Foundation. Like Star created the Rhythm and Blues Day.
Yes.
November, I guess she really started working on it November of 2021. And the first celebration of it would have been the first Saturday of March 2022. And, you know, it's a musical celebration across the country where all of these get together to play music, what they think, how individually they want to honor this music, you know, which has led to rap music and hip hop. And it's all spin out from rhythm and blues and just Black Afrocentric music. It's really all it was, you know.
This is a fantastic thing to do that, because one of the reasons that Star said is that there was no R&B day. There is for all the other genre of music, but not for R&B day, right?
Right, absolutely. I mean, they, you know, and there's all kind of awards and stuff, country music awards and everything. And and it's funny, people don't even seem to realize that. People have been upset when people say, hey, let's have Black History Month. And they're like, why do you need a Black History Month? It's like, well, because every other day is your history month, you know, like years. So what is the problem of looking at the contributions that certain people have made? And it's obvious. I mean, especially coming from slavery and all that type of stuff. It's just, you take 2 steps forward to take 2 steps back, or however that saying goes.
Especially.
But, yeah. Yeah, now, absolutely.
Going back a lot.
Yeah. Well, and what it was is that even then the artists didn't get their right pay, you know, from residuals and stuff. And my mom was one of that happened to, because things weren't always great for us. Her records on the radio, but, you know, financially we weren't doing what should have been done. And she fought it and she won. And to make a long story short, that's how she created the Rhythm and Blues Foundation, to help other artists that were in the same situation she was in. You know, she could have just taken her money and I've got mine and I'm thank you, bye. And she wouldn't have that. She wanted everybody that deserved it and hadn't been treated fairly to have the option. So my family and my mom's nephew, he's on the board of directors. He's the chairman, Damon Williams, and we still help people that need money for rent and food and whatever. You know, we give grants. The rhythm.
It's fantastic.
So it's a good thing. You know.
That, you know, you're giving back.
Yes, yes.
It's a fantastic way of, you know, of you will be getting more, because I believe in karma.
There you go. All day. You and me both. You know, pay it forward if you can.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's not good.
Yeah.
We are at the end of our show.
Oh.
I know.
Have such a good time, Marie. Thank you.
Me too. Thank you so much. This is wonderful.
My honor, my pleasure.
Congratulations for all you're doing. And thank you for all you're doing. And bye-bye to my viewers. See you next Saturday, 12:30 p.m. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.